When your business starts to hit the two, three, four, five, six, going on 15-year mark, you've probably come up with a lot of ideas. So, what do you do when you are fresh out? How do you reinvigorate when the well runs dry? In this episode, we're going to talk about what to do when the tank is out of gas. And the answer, I don't believe, is to go it alone, push the pedal harder, and go faster. I think that it is to turn to others and also think outside the box when you're looking for ideas for a refill. So let's get into it. What to do when you are fresh out of ideas. Welcome to Small Business Casual. You're in the right place if you've got an entrepreneurial mindset and you want to grow a business that's successful, profitable, and thriving, but you don't want it to get in the way of your time with family and friends. I'm Emily Aborn, and I'm here to guide you through with grounded marketing, practical business ownership strategies, and more as we design a business that works for you. Hello, welcome back to Small Business Casual. I am here with a new set of dancing shoes today because I got a camera. That is right. It is like a separate camera from my laptop camera because thanks to a whole technological debacle where I tried to send a video to the good folks at Podmatch and they were like, no, the quality is terrible. They clued me into the fact that the video quality on my laptop has been terrible forever and trash forever. But I had just kind of been conveniently avoiding that for a very, very long time. Weirdly enough, this summer has kind of been that for me. Okay. It's been sort of all about getting the truths out of hiding, bringing them up into the light, facing some of the things that I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine as is. And then I actually have to do something about them to rewrite the story and to make the change. So I'm talking from the big stuff down to, a new webcam. And what I have learned is as you start to dust off all those cobwebs, the things underneath are full of life and they tend to be very invigorating and bring back a spark of joy in their simplicity. And it's very empowering, actually. So, that is kind of what this episode is all about. It's about how to bring creativity and excitement back around what we're doing, what we're creating, and also who we're becoming. And as I've addressed throughout this month, the answer is sometimes smart consistency. And sometimes it is saying no, it is walking away, it is choosing something else, it is changing your mind and being 100% honest with yourself about which situations call for which modus operandi. So, I haven't done so properly in a while, so I am going to quickly introduce myself just in case you're a newcomer. If you are, welcome. And then I'm going to tell you a story about something that recently happened to me in my business, which had me buzzing with electricity. And then I'm going to get into how we can take those same principles and add the woohoo back into your step if that is something that you are missing too. So, the introduction. Drum roll, please. Okay, no drum roll. I'm Emily Aborn. I'm a writer. Specifically, I'm a business copywriter. And I write outside of business all hours of all days. I am a podcast guest and host. I'm a speaker. I'm a reader and a lover of books. And I also love the outdoors, peace, quiet, rural life. I mean, give me the mountains, oceans, lakes, rivers, you name it. Just plunk me there and just shh. So on this podcast, we kind of talk about that. We talk about living the lifestyle that you love. For you, it might not be the mountains, it might be the city, it might be adventuring, it might be, who knows, you're snuggling with your dogs and cats. But living the life that you love and also loving the business that you're building. And I don't believe that it has to be, I don't believe it's a perfect balance. But I don't believe it has to be either or. I think we can have both and so that is why I'm here. I take in ideas that you give me, and I really work on kind of distilling and simplifying, curating, deciding, streamlining, informing you, hopefully making you laugh, and probably making you roll your eyes once in a while. So that's why we're here. I know, like I said, that was a little bit of a longer intro. Without further ado, we got to get into story time, I think. So I recently got a freelancing gig with the green, oh my gosh, their name is challenging. Okay. Green and Healthy Maine Homes Magazine. So I got a freelancing gig with Green and Healthy Maine Homes Magazine. I will include a link to their website in the show notes. Fascinating magazine. Last month, I got and completed my first assignment. Yay! But let me just tell you, it was not the easiest assignment. Okay. I had to for this article, I had to interview 3 to 4 sources. I had to dig into legal laws and document and transcripts. I had to gain a very deep understanding of licensure requirements for various tradespeople. I had to track down reputable information to cite. And at times, I will be honest with you, I kind of thought the whole entire thing was a test. So I hit a couple of dead ends at the beginning. I considered giving up, but thankfully, my love of research and reports throughout high school and college, and it all came roaring back to me and kicked me into high gear. And then, of course, once I had gathered all the information, I had to organize it into an interesting narrative with an angle that would appeal to their readers, who are, in this case, homeowners. I had to show them why they would actually care. So let me just tell you, I definitely used a lot more elbow grease than I would typically use in an entire year. But that article came together. It came together magically. And I remember the day I finished. It was a super gray, drizzly Tuesday. And like I was pretty tired that day. And I kept on going. I kept on going. I had like my binaural beats on, right? And as I kept going and reading and researching and putting all this together, I started to feel more and more energized, more and more alive. When I finished, I felt for sure a sense of relief. But even more than that, I felt this like head to toe elation. It was like the kind of satisfaction you get when you overcome a very difficult challenge and you win to tell about it. I realized about myself, and I knew this, but I really love that journalistic, investigative, bringing together different information and fact finding and sources, and then weaving it into storytelling. I love that so much. So the experience really rekindled the spark for me. And because it did, I kind of wanted to toss some ideas over your way because here's the reality in our businesses, when we are creating content with our podcast, when we are writing, it can start to feel, no matter how much we love it, it really can start to feel a little flat sometimes. So, if you've been doing the same old, and you're expecting to feel differently on the other side, it might be time to mix it up. So, I'm going to give you some experiments you can do to rekindle the spark. And let me just say this, I'm a big fan of experimentation. Not all experiments go well. Okay. I am trying to do some right now with my own sort of like health stuff. And some of the experiments are failing miserably. And I will feel way worse than I did before. So always know that when you are experimenting, there is the possibility of failure. That is also information, and it's going to help you choose what to do next. And I also find that the going through the experiment itself and the story you pull out on the other side, that right there is almost always a launch pad for creativity because you have to think again. You have to think, okay, what now? Right? Or what else? Or could I turn this experience into something? So I don't think you can lose when you experiment. So I just want to say that. The other thing I want to say is you are, I am, we are creative beings at our core. So when we are experiencing the empty tank, it's not a matter of, you're not being creative enough. It's usually a sign that we've been either generating in a vacuum or operating in that same way day in and day out, and we just need something fresh. It may also be a sign that we need to rest and not try to be productive for a little while. So, we're going to kind of dive into what I pulled as my elements of elation from that past project I did. And hopefully, some of these ideas, you take what you want, leave the rest, but give some of them a whirl. So, we're going to talk about like building excitement and anticipation with deadlines and dates, trying something new, getting your hands on challenges, doing it with other people, going deeper, getting outside perspective, and reporting or sharing about it. And I'll break these all down for you. Some of them I lumped together for the sake of time. Okay, so first up, trying something new. And preferably, I would encourage you to try something challenging or hard. As I shared, that magazine assignment was new and it was also very hard. I also think for me, there was magic to having a deadline. I work well with a container. Deadlines, dates, something to look forward to on the calendar, right? So that motivated me to get my ducks in a row, prepare, put one front foot in front of the other, not just think about doing it, but actually do it. So that's my first idea for you. Try something new. Get your hands on maybe something that's a little more challenging. Don't freak out if it's difficult at first or you're not nailing it the first time. That rarely happens. Or if it's not coming easily to you right away. And also, I would encourage you to make it real by putting it on your calendar. Make it be something you need to sign up for. Build excitement and anticipation for a date. Maybe it's an event or a workshop or a new experience. And yes, I'm talking, it could be business stuff for sure. But I also think that this can come from non-business stuff too. A writing class, glass blowing, pottery, painting nights, dance class, writing circle, paddleboarding. I already said writing circle. A hawk watch actually was the thing that like burst open my creativity once and totally changed my life. So, whatever it is for you that pulls at your individual heartstrings, it doesn't need to be related to business. Sometimes the only way to break the funk is to just get out of it. And believe me, I think that that is way harder than it sounds sometimes, especially if you are a person that likes that tried and true, right? And routine and structure and keeping to norm, which I also do. My second idea for you is to go deeper within. Often rekindling the spark, it's not about adding more. It's not even about trying something new or bringing in yet another thing. It's actually just about going deeper, quieter, more into your own self or more into something that you're already doing. So doubling down and uncovering like, okay, what is this layer of fear here? Or what is this next layer of vulnerability or depth or determination or healing? What do I need to do to kind of push past the surface? And sometimes that involves getting really real with yourself and asking yourself questions like, what am I hiding from? What do I really want to share? Why am I really doing this? Why is this getting under my skin so badly? Why is this bothering me? What am I feeling here? What's really going on? There's all kinds of questions. You can make up questions for yourself. And this is not nearly as fun as taking a pottery class, I know. But I will tell you that sometimes when this is the solution, when the solution is to go deeper, things are going to keep stopping you and blocking you until you wake up and realize that you need to go deeper. Okay. So that's fun too. And if you want a super tangible way to go deeper, which I would imagine you do, repurposing is this. This is, I think, a very practical way to go deeper into content that you've already shared. I promise you, you cannot talk about a topic too many times. I've actually done a podcast very similar to this one before, a little different, but about rekindling the spark. So we can always go deeper on things that we have created before. We can repurpose something, give it a fresh life. We can create it in a different way. So I would challenge you to look at in your own stuff. What can you rework and make new? Maybe it's an old offering that you dust off and you're like, you know what? I like this. I'm going to rework it and make it something new. The fourth one is sort of the opposite of going deeper within, and it's about gaining an outside perspective. So we can't always be the ones to figure out what is slowing us down while we're sitting there staring inside our own brains. Sometimes we need that outside motivation, that perspective. And it might simply mean that we gain inspiration or we look to like a book or a movie or art or podcasts or music. But we also might be looking at like what other people have done that is successful in that area and use the solutions they've created to not to copy, to pave the way forward for us. It also might mean bringing in an expert or somebody who can offer a strategic insight or an outside vantage point, right? So sometimes getting that solid advice or an external, like, you got this, like that chutzpah, right? That we need to get going. I think when you're too close to your work, when I'm too close to my work, it can be hard to see the forest through the trees, or however that phrase goes. And I think that one real conversation with somebody outside of your echoing chamber brain, it can change everything. I mean, if we're talking content strictly, it can give you like three more podcast episodes, right? Four more email ideas, a fresh approach. The list goes on and on and on and on. And I also think that connection really refills your tank. And as you refill your tank, that's when those ideas are like, oh, now we have something to grow. We have something to foster and grow in. It builds relationships and it also grows your business. So, connecting with other people, getting that outside perspective, that's another one. And number five, this one's kind of out of the boxy, but I think it's fun. Make a point to tell about it. I find that when I go into something, I'm going in to get a story out of something, or I'm going to make my report back and tell my friend Karen, or even when I just promised my friend Crystal, I'll let you know how it goes. It brings me a new perspective going in to the thing because my objective data collecting, fact finding, reporting skills are on. And it also kind of forces me to live the thing twice because now I'm telling about it. I'm reflecting on it, whether I'm sharing it with a friend or I'm including it in an email newsletter or I'm recording a podcast about it. It causes me to find those glimmers, those lessons, those takeaways, the applications, the how does it apply to you? How does it apply to me? What do we actually want to do about it? It causes me to look for those. So I always think that when you can go in with the mindset of, I'm going to share about this, you don't need to share about everything, obviously, but going in with the mindset of like, this is something I want to share about on the other side, it really opens you up to paying more attention during the experience in a different kind of way. You pay closer attention. I do think you enjoy it a little bit more because you see like the good and the bad in a different way. Like if it was maybe something you wouldn't have enjoyed. And your very experience itself then becomes the impetus for your next source of creativity. So you get to enjoy the magic twice. You're paying closer attention while you're enjoying it, and you use whatever you just went through to be the catalyst for your next piece. It's kind of like the trifecta, I think, for an empty tank. Okay, last one. I saved the best ish for last. I think they're all fun, but community is the biggest and best lever, I think, when it comes to getting new ideas, rekindling the spark, and creating something new. At the time of recording this, I have a lot of creative community sparking things to look forward to. I'm actually recording this at the beginning of the month of August. So I have my New England podcasters group. I'm doing a candid content day, which I do at the Hannah Grimes Center in Keene. It's like a whole day of a bunch of us getting together and strategizing, planning our content, taking photos for social media. It's super, super fun. So stay tuned for that because I'm going to be doing another one, I think in October. Lots of people love them. They're super fun and a lot of people are interested. So, but I just believe that getting together with other people in small groups that are comfortable and safe for you, having those things on the calendar, creating the connection in community, that is such a great way to help freshen things up. And for me, it has been everything in helping me to overcome some of the funk that I have been in. So, making things alongside other people, it usually beats grinding away solo. You get that shared energy, you get the built in accountability, you've got the collaborative ideas bouncing between two people. And sometimes you collaborate with somebody that you meet there, right? So, you're literally creating something new together. And then, obviously, bonus points if it's something fun, because no matter how much you love what you're doing, building our dreams can get lonely and sometimes it can be heavy, no matter how much you believe in it. So, doing it with others, I think naturally makes it fun again, right? Like there's naturally room for laughter and joy. And that joy is as much as it is worth as much as a full tank of gas. even in today's economy, even with gas prices what they are right now. And lastly, I don't want to end without at least touching on the fact that sometimes flatlining is a sign that you need to give something up. You need to rest or walk away or change up your pace. It doesn't always require more hustle or more productivity or looking for more ways and ideas. But you and only you can determine what's worth rekindling and what's actually time and worth to let fizzle. A drought in your creativity can mean that you've been pouring out a lot, too much, without getting anything pouring back in. And that is exhausting to anybody. So refilling sometimes takes stepping away from whatever that thing was. And sometimes refilling takes leaning in and going deeper, right? But one thing I do know, either way, whatever the circumstances, is that getting unstuck is not usually accomplished by doing the exact same thing. That's like banging our head against the wall and expecting a different result. It is about stepping outside the box, stretching our comfort zone, taking our fear with us and saying, you know what, let's do this together, my friend. And if it flops, remember, the worst that happens is that you have a creative story to share on the other side. I just had one happen this morning, which maybe that will be the topic of a future episode. Okay. That is where I will leave you for this week, my friend. Let me know if you had any ahas or takeaways, or if you're going to give any of these a whirl. And as always, if you have questions or ideas you want me to touch on in a future episode, you name it, just reach out. I am here for you. And on that note, I will chat with you next week. Thanks for joining me on this week's episode of Small Business Casual. If you want more business advice that's a little quirky, not too buttoned up, one less accessory, and just right, visit my website, emilyaborn.com, and connect with me over on Instagram @EmilyAborn. I'll be here, cozy slippers in hand, to help you design a business you love.